my name's Amanda Zanette, and today we're going to be talking about the City Game Book and focusing on City Council meetings. City Council meetings are done every week. I like to have one a week, and the students love this because they get to focus on challenges that are going in the classroom or even something that might be going on at home. This is a place for them that's safe, where they can hear each other's opinions and get feedback from their peers. Now, in the City Council meetings, these are run by deputy mayors, and in the book you'll see more of the details of how they are run, but there is a City Council box where students will write an anonymous message about a concern that they have within the classroom or at home. This could even be something like, I think, Miss Zanette, you're giving too much homework, and I even tell them, write it, because if I am, let's talk about it. And I have had that meeting before, and it ended with the students saying, no, she doesn't give too much homework. You need to spend more time in class working on your work, which I thought was pretty neat to see. But in the end, they do need to have a place to be able to talk through their feelings and get a different perspective. So when we have these meetings, the deputy mayors do lead it, like I said. And what we start off with is, what's the concern? So the deputy mayor that's leading that meeting will state, this is the concern. And then what we do is we share our feelings. Now, this part of the City Council meeting is very key. We're so used to hearing a problem and wanting to jump into a solution. The part that I think we forget to do is hear each other and hear how it made the person feel. So this is where we try and empathize with the student who wrote the concern. And it's very brave of a student to write that and place it into a box and then sit and listen to their peers talk about it. This is where we want to know, okay, I can see why you were feeling the way you were, and then we move into solutions. And you will notice that when you throw in the feelings, you will start to hear thoughtful solutions rather than just random, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Instead, you start to hear the students have that empathy piece in their solution. And then at the end, the deputy mayor who's leading gets to decide what we do in the end with this concern. So if that deputy mayor is not sure what decision they want to make, they can turn to the other two deputy mayors and have a conversation. Sometimes they'll go in the hallway. Sometimes I'll take the class for a quick lap and then we'll come back and meet, and that will be the decision. I don't make the final decision. The only way I can interfere with the decision is if it has anything to do with something that's unsafe or the school wouldn't allow it. And that's the only way I can jump in and say, look, we won't be able to do this, but let's try this. So those are our City Council meetings. One thing I would really emphasize is the students should not be using anyone's name. Even in our classroom lessons, my students know we don't use names in the classroom. I've even had a principal walk in to talk to my class about a concern, and the kids stopped him and said, you can't use names in here. So he thought that was really great that they were letting him know that. But we don't want any student in the class to feel like we're zoning in on them, because it's not about that. It's about us all learning about that mistake that happened or how it made people feel when that action happen. Is just learning and growing together rather than someone feeling like it was their fault. So that's something we really push in the classroom, and it's something that you do need to repeat until you get to the point where it just becomes natural. And I like to ask my deputy mayors to really push that, because you don't need to take on everything as the teacher. That's the point of the City Game. Let the students help you, because they love to help, and you know that. Another piece is the 4 corners model. What I have in my classroom is I have signs in each corner of my room. One is titled yes, one is no, one's maybe, and one's undecided. What we will do is we'll ask a question, and it needs to have a yes or no answer, and I'll ask the students, instead of doing our traditional meeting, I'll ask them to use their body and move to the corner that best represents their answer. Now this year my students and I had a class meeting about the 4 corners, and we decided to remove undecided because some students were choosing that corner so that they wouldn't have to contribute to the conversation. And so what we did is we changed that sign to the teacher gets to decide where you go. And so then the teacher can place the student into a corner. Some students actually like to choose that corner because they want to be challenged to think differently and defend their corner. So it's more like the beginning of debates, and I will actually use the four-corner model to begin teaching debates. It's also just a nice way to add more energy to a city council meeting if you're feeling like your kids are quite lethargic that day and you're heading into a meeting. Maybe there was a heavy topic before. So that's another model that you can use, and I'm sure you have your own ways too. So thank you for listening.